Hello, welcome to Creative You Podcast. I'm kind of in the bright sunlight, so we'll see if this works or not. It's about 6:30 at night and the sun is setting, and I'm trying to find a new place. So I got lots of stuff. I remember when anybody asked me, how many projects do you work on at one time? Just one. That's all I ever work on at one time. Well, I now have almost 5,000 things in my queue on Ravelry, which is just ridiculous. But it's not hurting anybody, right? It's not hurting anybody. And, it's so funny. The things you put in your queue, hi, Lil, that you want to do, if you look at them like a month later, sometimes you'll wonder why in the world you ever like that. So little Lily's looking at me. Because of tummy problems, I hesitate to pick her up anymore because I think I hurt her. And I really miss picking her up and cuddling her. Hi, sweetheart. You want to try? And she's kind of like a brain damaged child. She'll come and just look at you. And she'll watch me knit like she's mesmerized. She still doesn't bark, although once I think she had pain and she let out a big yip. People that have a lot of pets will say there's always something on the floor to clean up. So yesterday, Patches was gagging on the bed. Today, the big boy, he's throwing up, and I am really, really worried about him. Been worried about him for a while. I am super attached to him. My husband says he's like a rock. He's like a pet rock, but I've said for a while, maybe he doesn't feel good. And about a month ago, he's a big, I guess like a Lab 57 variety mix. He's old. He has a white face. We went for a walk just around the big block. And if he would have been small, halfway through, I would have picked him up and brought him home. Now, I walked him the other day, and he's super, super slow, but something just hasn't seemed right to me. He does this like gappy thing with his mouth. I think, what's wrong? Is he not swallowing right? And the other day, he just started barking and barking and barking for really no known reason. Otherwise, he sleeps almost all the time. So today he's throwing up major, and he's starting to lick his paws. And my black lab that died 2 years ago, she used to lick her paw until she got an ulcer there, and the ulcer would never heal because she would just lick and lick and lick. And if you're not into pets, I'm sorry. And they call it acral dermatitis. And there are pain relievers in the paw, in the palm of the hand, that people will bite on their palm or chew on it to relieve pain. And my vet said back then, this is a very bad sign. She's stressed, whether it's pain or, and another vet told me the opposite, but he was right because turned out she had cancer and she died. So what am I making here? I'll just finish this row here. So now I'm really worried about him. And the cat, Patches, everybody's always said that Patches is very, very vocal. But when she was coming up and down the steps, I actually thought it was a human being because it was like this stuttered sound. Yeah, kind of like that. Oh, it's the cat. And then when she would come down, it'd be rah, 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 rah. Well, I've noticed that she has a sore paw, and I think she's letting us know that she hurts. Now, she lets me touch it and bend it and everything, but when she gets down the step, she holds it up. So lots of pet stuff going on. And our state is one of the last states to kind of get with it. Our governor is incredibly strict. The shop has still been closed, although I go in there every day and do some things and organize. And So this project that I'm working on is called Crochet Shawl with a K, but it's not crocheted, it's knitting. That's why I think it's Susan Ashford. That's, oh, Stitchnerd Designs, I'm sorry. That's why she did it with a K for knit. And the first section I did, I had the knit two togethers at the wrong place. And so I got, let's see here, I got a different pattern. I got a different look, almost like a ripple. But once I got the knit two together, moved a space up, I think maybe when you look at it as a whole, it might look like it's crocheted. I don't have a colored picture, but there's the black and white picture. So I'm using a self-striping yarn, Debbie Bliss Rialto DK print, and then a merino yarn. And I mean, I got this much done pretty quickly. You take a solid color. The other gal that I saw make this on Ravelry did her main color as a light gray, and it was very pretty. I had a hard time choosing what color to put with this to get a contrast, because I have light colors, medium colors, and dark colors. So I chose the mint green, and I guess in a day or two we will know how it looks. So that's one project. I mean, it's not going to be the type of thing that people jump up and down wanting to make or wanting to buy kits, but it is pretty and it's unusual. I think it would make a lovely cowl. And if you did choose to do it this way, I think that's pretty too, but not as interesting as this. The wrong side, yeah, I guess it's not really reversible. But anyway, the yarn is soft, merino, and it is fun to knit with. I was going to show you the crocheted starfish stitch claws, and I just hit a glitch in that I couldn't understand what it was saying. And what I've found the best thing to do when that happens is just put it away for a day or two. Just put it away, and then when you get it back out, the light bulb will go off. So I've been wanting to try this Techno Hat for a while. Linda Moran, if you're listening, Linda likes this pattern. So it's a free pattern, and she took kind of the smocking pattern and put it into the hat. So it'll look better when I get the whole thing done, just at the point where I'm changing my needle sizes. I would say this: if you have arthritis or you get pain in your hands, this might not be the project for you, because when you do these smocking stitches, what you have to do is take your needle and put it after 6 stitches in, and then you have to wrap it. Now, if you're not careful, I'm over here. If you're not careful the way you wrap it, you will pull it around other stitches, and you don't want that. So you are sticking it 6 stitches in, and then when you wrap this, I'm careful to pull all of that down. But when you pull it through, now you have to pull it to the end and put it first. And it's a bit of a pull and a struggle. And then if it's not really, really tight, you get this loose looking gappy yarn. So I have found that even after not even a whole row, my hands hurt. I'm going to finish it, but just a warning. So I was listening to a minister do a podcast today on aging, and it reminded me of a poem I wanted to share about the joys after 60, but I left it upstairs, so maybe tomorrow. But he was talking about famous people who have done amazing things in their older years. So I'd shown you this dishcloth the other day made out of Plymouth Sweet Carolina cotton. It is a soft cotton. And I had asked, do you want soft cotton for a dishcloth? I don't know. My grandmother used to say you don't want fabric softeners in your towels. You don't want them to be soft. You want them to be a little rough to absorb water. So I had gotten these towels and not thinking, I grabbed one this morning when I got out of the shower, and it was cool here, and it's like it wasn't drying the water off my skin. I was just spreading the water around. So I don't know if it would be more absorbable if it's soft, but I had mentioned I was doing a baby blanket with this yarn. I just have to find the pattern. So it's a feather and fan stitch. I should be able to look that up just about anywhere. And there's its little specks. And it has two colors of yellow, like a light yellow. I don't know if you can see it. And a gold. But this is really soft. If I were a baby, I would certainly want something like this. Even now at my age, I certainly love to cover up with something like this. I can block it, but I don't know that I'm going to need to. And I'm on my second ball of yarn. So I guess for a carriage blanket, maybe two more balls of yarn, which isn't bad at all. And then I had shown a Tunisian dishcloth the other day, and this is a really nice book. This sells for $9.99, and it gives you a bunch of patterns that you could use to make dishcloths, or you could use to make anything. So the other yarn I was talking about with dishcloths was Hempathy. That is also great for summer clothing. It's durable cotton, hemp, and modal. And there's a capelet pattern that I wanted to show you that I probably didn't grab. So maybe tomorrow, but again, I'm sorry I don't have color. My printer ink was rapidly fading. This is a shawl called Calypso. And I remember Katie saying she once made one of these in a day. I did not choose the worsted weight yarn. I chose a sport weight. This is Noro Silk Garden. I just really didn't want to see it done in a really chunky yarn, but this is a free pattern, I think. And it is done with trebles, and after you get so far, you repeat the 2 rows, and I was a little bit confused why that sticks out there. So as I was getting ready to do the podcast, I noticed that big hole. And I also noticed that all of these 3 trebles, chain 2, 3 trebles follow down until here where I'm off. So I'm going to rip that out because I really don't. I mean, there are some things you can live with and I can't. But it is striping really pretty. And when the colors change, it's so subtle mid-row that it doesn't really, it's not that noticeable. It doesn't throw off the pattern. It's a fun pattern. I love the way she starts her rows. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this isn't free. Maybe this costs a couple dollars. So I won't give away much. But I would also like to do it. And see how noticeable that is once you know that's there. I'd also like to do this in a fingering weight yarn. So I think that would be lovely. And I see a nice pattern on the picture. I haven't gotten that far, so it won't take long to rip out. I'm doing this crocheted shawl that it's a crescent, and then you do a pretty color and then a border. And that thing is so monotonous and slow, and you only increase one side every other row. And I didn't mark it, and I got mixed up, and I noticed sometimes I would increase on this side, so it all had to be ripped out. And I think it will be one of those things when it's finished, I'll say, well, it wasn't really that fun. I don't want to make another one, but it was worth it. But now that I'm ripping back, so the Calypso Shawl, and it looks like I'm over my time. Thank you for watching. I hope you're enjoying the beautiful spring, and keep that smile, shine baby shine. Remember, God loves you. Bye.